Hi, this is Alex Gingrich with Dilbeck Real Estate, and this is part one of my two-part video series on why you should buy property now. In this first video, I'm going to talk about the differences between purchasing a property versus renting a property and the cost associated with the two. Now, I'm not coming to you as a salesperson. I'm coming to you as a person who has some information and is going to shed some light on thinking about purchasing a property versus renting property that you might not have thought about before. We're going to talk about the numbers and actually what it costs to own a property versus what it costs to rent a property. So in our example, I'm going to assume that you have $50,000 to either invest in real estate or put that money in some other investment and rent a property. Now, you don't even need $50,000 in today's market to purchase a property. There are FHA loans out there right now that are as low as 3.5% down payment. So that's another option which we can talk about later. But for now, we're just going to assume you have $50,000 to either purchase a property, put a down payment on a property, or to rent a property and invest in something else. So, let's say you have the $50,000 to invest. And in our example, we're going to assume that you're putting 10% down and you can purchase a $500,000 property. And to rent a property like that, it costs about $2,500 in this area. So we're going to assume that you're paying $2,500 in rent. Now in our example, we're going to look at these numbers over a 7-year period and compare purchasing a property versus renting a property over a 7-year period. So the $50,000, if you invested that, let's say you found some type of great investment that could guarantee you 10% return per year, which may or may not be out there right now, but let's just assume that for this example. If we compound that continuously over 7 years, that's going to come out to a profit of about $50,700 over 7 years. Now the $2,500 that you're spending in rent, if we multiply that over a 7-year period, that comes to $30,000 per year, and that comes out to $210,000 over the 7-year period. So if we subtract out the $50,700 from the $210,000, this is the profit if you invested in some other investment, that comes out to a total cost over 7 years to rent a property to about $159,300. Okay, so that's renting a property. Now, if you were to buy a property, like I mentioned before, we're going to assume a purchase price of $500,000. And we're going to assume that you can get a loan for 4.5%. Now, in today's market, interest rates are at historic levels. So even that 4.5% is a little high. I had a client we just closed on property, he was getting 4% on his loan. So just to be conservative, we're going to say 4.5%. So that 4.5% over a 30-year period, your loan amount is going to be $450,000, since we're using the $50,000 to put a down payment instead of invest in some other investment. So 4.5%. For a $450,000 loan, that comes out to $2,280 per month for principal and interest. Now, when you purchase a property, there are other costs involved. You also have to pay for property taxes, which in this example comes out to about $500 per month. And also insurance on the property comes out to about $80 per month, depending on what company you go with. So total out-of-pocket per month comes out to $2,860. Now, it is a little bit more than the $2,500 you're paying in rent, only $360, so it's not too big of a difference. But this is before one of the great parts about owning real estate, which is a tax write-off you get. So the tax write-off in this example, the first write-off would be your mortgage interest write-off. And for the first year, you'd be able to write off about $1,670 per month. And you get to write off 100% of your property taxes. So that's another $500 per month that you're writing off in property taxes. So that's a total write-off of let's see, of $2,170 per month. And if you're in a 37% tax bracket, that's a cash savings of about $800 per month. So at this point, you can see that even though you're paying $28.60 per month out of pocket, that you're writing a check to the mortgage company every month, at the end of the year, you're writing off $800 per month. $28.60 minus $800 is $2,060. That's $440 less than renting a property. Now, and this isn't even factoring in one of the best parts about owning real estate, which is potential for appreciation. Now, I know over the past few years over the past 5 years, there hasn't been any appreciation at all. In fact, there's been significant depreciation. And but in this area, we've actually seen a leveling out in prices over the past year. So it is possible that prices could go down over the next year. But you know, when you purchase a property, it's not a short-term investment. You're not going to be selling it over the next year, so you wouldn't really recognize that loss. But over the course of the next 7, 10 years, you can be fairly sure that you're going to see some sort of appreciation in prices. So let's assume that you can recognize a 2% increase in price over the next 7 years. That's being conservative. The long-term average is actually higher than that. So 2% increase in price per year comes out to about $74,000 in appreciation over 7 years. So if we break this down between the tax write-off savings, which comes out to, over the course of 7 years, $67,200, and we subtract this total from the total cost that it costs to that you're paying per month to rent a property over 7 years. So this $28.60, if we multiply that by 12 months and by 7 years, that comes out to about $240,240. So we're going to subtract this amount, the $74,000, and the $67,200. This is the tax savings that you're getting. This is the $67,200 is the tax savings. $74,000 is the appreciation. Of course, this could be higher or lower, but this is a pretty conservative number over the next 7 years. This comes out to a total cost of only $99,040 over 7 years. Now, just to drive the point home, let's take this and break it down per year, per month, and per day. So the $159,300, if we break it down per year, comes out to $22,757. Per month comes out to $1,896. This is factoring in the profit that you made from this investment. And then that comes out to $63 per day. Okay. Over on the purchase side, the $99,000 broken down per year comes out to only $14,150 per year. Comes out to $1,179 per month, and only $39 per day. I think you can rent a compact economy car at Enterprise for $39 per day. I mean, just looking at the numbers, it's very obvious that purchasing a property is so much better than renting. Plus, we're not even factoring out all the intangible benefits that you get from owning a property. You have the pride of ownership. You can do whatever you want to the property in terms of landscaping, painting the house. You can remodel, add on. Versus leasing a property, you can't really do any of that. You have to worry about leases and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. The second part of this video series is going to talk about why it's a good idea to buy property specifically now in this market. We're going to talk about some more market specific factors in terms of just overall general numbers where it's a good time to buy no matter what the market's doing. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. We can sit down and talk about this more. This is Gingrich with Real Estate.